الذين كفروا Hamza, Noon, Kasra, In. You have observed that I have take Noon sound into the nose and stretch up to one alif. This is called Gunna of Noon Mushaddad. This is Tashdid sign. When Tashdid sign comes on any letter, the letter become Mushaddad. And you always do Gunna in Noon Mushaddad. It means when Tashdid comes on Noon, you take Noon sound into the nose and stretch up to one alif. And you always do Gunna in Mim Mushaddad also. So Hamza, Noon, Kasra, In, Noon, Lam, Fatanal. Innal, Lam, Fatala, Innalla. This is Tashdid, and when Tashdid comes on any letter, we read that letter two times. First, we join the letter with the haraka of the previous letter, and secondly, we read the Tashdid letter by its own haraka with a minor slight pause. So, Innalla, but don't stretch Fatah, Kasra, Zama. We not stretch Zabar, Zer, Pesh while reading. Zal, Ya, Kasra, Di. This is another rule which is called Ya Madda. When Ya becomes Sakin, any letter which contain a Jazm sign, Dal shaped small sign on it, the letter becomes Sakin because of Jazm. So before Ya Sakina, Kasra come at the previous letter, then you stretch Ya up to one finger, one alif. Innalladhina. Don't stretch Fatah on Noon. Dal Ya Kasra Di Noon Fatana. Innalladhina. Dina. It's not innalladhina. No, don't stretch Fatah on Noon. Kaf Fataka. Fa Fatafa. Kafa. Ra Waw Zamma Ru. When Fatah or Zamma comes on Ra, then you read Ra with a thick voice. This is another rule which is called Waw Madda. When Jazm sign comes on Waw, Waw becomes Sakin. Before Waw Sakina, Pesh come, Zamma come at the previous letter. Then you stretch Waw up to one finger, one alif. This is called Waw Madda. So here stretch Waw up to one finger also. Kafaru. Innalladhina kafaru. Read Zal very softly because we touch our top of the tip of the tongue to the inner edges of top two front teeth while reading Zal, and we read it very softly while reading Innalladhina, not Zina. Zina. Sawa'un alayhim. Sin fatasa. Waw, alif, fatah, mad, wa. This is alif madda. When fatah come before alif, you stretch alif up to one finger, and alif madda got a mad sign on it. This long sign is called mad sign, and mad means to stretch. When mad comes on any letter, we stretch that letter according to mad rules. When after mad hamza is next letter, then you stretch mad because of hamza up to two fingers. So stretch it up to two fingers. Sawaun, hamza to pesh un. Sawaun alayhim. So there are two pesh. It means tanween on hamza. There are four tanween rules. According to you do gunna or you don't. After tanween, halaki letter comes. Then halaki letters are six letters: hamza, ha, ain, ha, ghain, kha. After tanween, if the next letter is a halaki letter, halaki means the letter is pronounced from throat. Six letters, I have mentioned these letters already, which are pronounced from our throats. If they come after tanween, if the next letter is halaki letter, then you don't do gunna in two zabar, two ze, two pesh. It means you not take two zabar, two ze, two pesh sound into the nose and stretch up to one alif. This is called gunna. taking two zabar, two zed, two pesh sound into the nose and stretch up to one alif. So after tanween there is a ayn which is pronounced from our throat. So that is why we will not take two pesh sound into the nose. Sawa'un alayhim, ayn fata'a, lam ya fatalay. This is ya lean. When fatah come before ya sakina, ya is sakin because of this jazm sign. Any letter which contain a jazm sign on it is called sakin letter. Before ya sakina, fatah come at the previous letter, then you do ya lean. It means you not stretch that ya, not sudden pause that ya. You will not read like this alayhim. No. Alayhim, ha, mim, kasra, him. Alayhim, alayhim, sawa'un alayhim. Read this alif madda by stretching up to two fingers and don't stretch any other letter here. Sawa'un alayhim. أأنذرتهم Hamza fata'a Hamza noon fata'a. When after noon sakina, noon is sakin because of this dal shaped jazm sign. When jazm sign comes on any letter, the letter becomes sakin. After noon sakina, we see next letter. If the next letter is not from halaki letters are those letters which are pronounced from throat. They are Hamza, Ha, Ain, Ha, Ghain, Kha. These six letters are pronounced from throat. When after Noon Sakina these letters come, we don't do Gunna in Noon Sakin. What is Gunna? Taking Noon sound into the nose and hide Noon Sakina sound and stretch up to one alif. But after Noon Sakina, except Halkiya letter, any other Mufridat letter comes, then you do Gunna. You take Noon sound into the nose and stretch up to one alif. A'udhar. Read Ra also with a thick tone when Ra contains Zabar or Pesh, Fatah or Zama on it, or before Ra Sakina, Fatah or Zama come at the previous letter, then you read Ra in a thick voice. Read Zal very softly, touch your top of the tip of the tongue to the inner edges of top two front teeth. Zal, Ra, Zabar, Var. Dhar. Read Ra with the thick voice. Zal softly. Tha fatata. Ha mim pesh hum. Read ha from the last part of your throat. A'anzartahum. A'anzartahum. Lam tunzirhum. Hamzah mim fata lam mim fata lam. Lam. Don't read it like this. Lam. Don't do gunna in mim sakin. We do gunna in mim sakin in only two conditions. When after mim sakina, if the next letter is a ba or meme after meme sakin, then you do gunna. Don't read like this lam. No, don't take meme sound into the nose and stretch it. Hamza meme fata lam meme fata lam. Lam to dirhum to. Because after noon sakina there is non halaki letter, that is why we have to take noon sound into the nose and stretch it up to one finger and also hide it into the nose. It means when after noon sakina hamza ha ain ha ghain kha are the next letters, then after noon sakina, because of halaki letter you will not do gunna. But after noon sakina except halki letter, any other letter come, then you do gunna. So there hum. Read Ra in a thin voice because before Ra sakina there is a kasra. Dal Ra zer zir. To there ha mim pesh hum. Read this ha from the last part of your throat. To there hum. La yu'minun. Lam alif fatah la. This is alif madda. When fatah come before alif, then you stretch alif up to one alif. Lam alif fatah la. Stretch it up to one finger. Ya hamza pesh yu. When Hamza contain a jazm sign on it, then you read Hamza Sakina with a sudden jerk. Yu, Meem, Kasra Mi, Yu, Mi, Noon, Waw, Pesh, Nu. It means when Pesh or Zama come before Waw Sakina, you stretch Waw also up to one finger. This is called Waw Madda. Do it, stretch up to one finger here. Yu, Mi, Noon. Make noon sakin because of this waqfe tam. This O sign waqfe tam indicates the completion of a Quranic ayah. So before waqfe tam, if the last letter contain fatah, kasra, zama, zabar, zir, pesh on it, then you make that letter sakin because of waqf. Only the voice of noon will show here. La yu'minun.